All righty, everybody. Welcome. A Thursday edition of Football with Faria. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. Instead of talking about some of the bigger topics, we're going to save that for tomorrow. We've got our first guest coming on tomorrow, Antoine Staley of the New York Daily News. We're going to go in on the Jets offseason, where they're going to go, what they could potentially do. All that's coming tomorrow morning. Today, and particularly every Thursday, I'm going to try to make it, we're going to go through the tape. And we're going to look at the tape this season and see where the Jets faltered and what moves can be made throughout this discussion in ways that they can solve their problems for 2023 into 2024. So before we get this film room started, let's hit the opening and let's get rolling.
It's time for Football with Faria.
You got to get the offense right, and you got to be able to be aggressive. They put up 14 against the secondary. That is driving me up a freaking wall right now.
Now here's your host, Nick Faria.
All right, so we got a lot to get to today. We're going to be here for potentially an hour, maybe even more. A lot to dissect. We're going to start week one of the NFL season with the New York Jets. They came in with Aaron Rodgers. All the expectations on Monday night. We all remember that incredible moment of Rodgers coming out of the tunnel with the American flag. Let's dissect week one, because there are things that happened in week one that really transformed and really showed just how bad it could get for the Jets. So while we're all waiting, give me a couple minutes as I present the screen accordingly. We're all starting. This is a brand new thing for me here, so appreciate all the patience. All right, and let me just make sure that you guys can all see my lovely face and everything on this screen. Perfect. Let's make sure we got the Twitter stuff going. We got that working. Perfect. All right. So let's get this started. Again, opening kickoff. We're going to talk about the entirety of this game, or at least as much as we can possibly get before everyone gets bored here. But the one thing that I do want to talk about is expectations, because I truly feel that expectations were the detriment to the Jets this season, right? Everyone expected them to make the playoffs, even when Aaron Rodgers went down. And right away, you saw the breakdowns happen. Right away. And not for this particular drive, and maybe not even this particular game. But ultimately, there were a lot of different problems. First off, first play of the game, they attacked Sauce Gardner. No major difference here. Gardner wasn't really tested a lot this season. You got to look at the pocket. It's a quick two-step drop, and the ball's out. They try to go with a little blitz here. Jordan Whitehead. Things happen. Nothing really to take away from that. Your best players are going to get beat sometimes. When you have a one-on-one matchup like that, Stephon Diggs, Sauce Gardner, you're going to lose sometimes. That's okay. Second play, it's a bubble screen. Look at the speed. Look at the intensity. This is where I feel the Jets missed out on a couple of things this year, because when you look at what the Jets defense is, they're ultra aggressive. They are all about rallying to the football, but sometimes they're just overly aggressive. And we're going to see that sort of deteriorate from week one throughout the season as we continue on this process of these film sessions and these film breakdowns. But here it is from the end zone view. All right, so there's plenty of room for the Bills to start moving. But look at the rallying that happens here. Again, early season jitters. Everyone's moving. Everyone's quick. Early missed tackle there by Quincy Williams. We're going to go back to that in a minute. And again, I apologize. I am using my keyboard. We're starting out nice and fresh here. But again, some of the microcosms, as early as the second play from the defensive side of the football. As great as Quincy Williams was this year, and he was phenomenal all pro season, that's a missed tackle. Difference between a couple of yards. And we may not think it's a lot, but that sort of deteriorates later in the year. We talk about how many times the Jets defense missed tackles this season, right? How many missed tackles do they have that just rolled into big gains and big plays for the opposing team. First run of the day to Cook's brother. So you got a quick double team here. I think that's Solomon Thomas. But the Jets do a pretty good job of bottling it up. Again, early season jitters. Everyone's excited. And this one, again, quick run, but it gets completely bottled up. And the one thing that I just don't get, and I think it really highlights one of the problems that the Jets are going to have to answer this offseason, is what's going to happen opposite Quinnen Williams. What's going to happen outside and opposite of Quinnen Williams? Al Woods, Quinnen at defensive tackle. This goes for just a 2-yard gain. And you can't block Quinnen Williams one-on-one because he just completely bottles that up. And again, Quinnen Williams, a phenomenal season. A phenomenal season. This is what he does. You can't go up against him one-on-one. And the stuff that I've seen throughout the year, the double teams that Quinnen had were highly increased later on in the season. So that's why the sack total was low. And we argue about pressures, and people wanted Quinnen to have sacks after the massive contract he got. But he was absolutely phenomenal this year. Absolutely phenomenal. First play, he really makes all year. And it's a doozies. And it sets up, 3rd and 5. And the Bills end up punting here on an incomplete pass. But again, rallying to the football. Everyone's in action. DJ Reed makes a good play on the ball. It's just, and it's an inaccurate throw. And the one thing that everyone gets in on Josh Allen about is his inaccuracy in the tight window throws at times, because he will, put it into pressure. This right here is behind Diggs and could have been picked off by a DJ Reed. Really could have. And we're also going to see how many times did Jets players drop an interception this year, or drop what could have been a big play. The Jets defense is still an elite unit. It's still an elite unit, absolutely. But is it as elite? Is it as elite as a Baltimore Ravens defense, as a Cowboys defense, as all these other top defenses? And we can argue and laugh at what the Cowboys did in the playoff game. But the Cowboys turned the ball over. They won a lot of games this year because of their defense, because of what happened, because of what the defense was all about. Typical punt here. Really no chance for Xavier Gibson. And obviously we're going to see the play later in the game-winning punt return, sort of giving a little bit of hope and happiness for the franchise after what was just a disaster of a game and a disaster of a play. But here we go. Again, context needs to be added. And this is the starting group for the Jets offensive line. There's Dwayne Brown, Laken Tomlinson, Connor McGovern, Elijah Vera Tucker, and Mekhi Becton. That's the starting 5 everyone is expecting to begin the year. And really, first couple of plays, first play really, it sets off beautifully. Nice bounce back from Breece Hall, and he's off. 26 yards, beautifully done. And look at the patience. We're going to get the end zone view here. But look at the patience that Hall has on this run, and the blocking and the seals done by the 2 tight ends. Now, the 2 tight ends, C.J. Uzomah, Tyler Conklin. Tyler Conklin on the right here, C.J. Uzomah closest to the tackle. And that was the expectation that we were getting, those 2 starting tight ends with Aaron Rodgers. And we just couldn't get that. We couldn't get the consistency that they needed, that the Jets needed this season. But the end zone view here is a thing of beauty because it shows the patience of Breece Hall. First off, we got a quick double team at the tackle. It goes off. And right here, if you pause it right here, there's a hole, but Jordan Poyer is in the hole. So you're thinking at most 2-3 yards, maybe 4 if you can get, some shiftiness in there. But look at the patience that Hall has. He makes one little jump cut, and finds the seal. Tries here. Nope. No, thank you. Breaks a quick tackle. And poof. 26 yards. And when we talk about Breece Hall, that first run really was a microcosm of the Jets' rushing attack, particularly early in the season. Because we remember when Dalvin Cook was on this team and when he was originally signed to this team, the expectation was that he was going to get the bulk of the carries right away to spell Hall and not put as much pressure on him to be the lead back. To not have him go 10, 20, 25 touches a game. And the problem is they couldn't get that done. Second play here, it's an incomplete pass. And again, a microcosm of the season. And it's really unfortunate. Rodgers hangs on to the ball. He gets pressured, throws it away. But the one thing I want you guys to look at here, again, his first pass play as a Jet, if he throws it to this window here, he might have a completion. Might. You see the linebacker pulling in on Cook. He's going to go out to the flat. The receiver's coming in on a slant. The corner is digging in. He's about to try to jump it. But if Rodgers makes that throw, that's probably a completed pass, or at worst, he's not getting touched. Notice on the side, Dwayne Brown and Mekhi Becton cutting. We're going to see that in a little bit as well. Let's look at the end zone view. And again, it's not the pass protection here wasn't the problem. In this particular play, Rodgers needs to get rid of the ball. Again, 2 cuts. The ball's got to be out. Ball's got to be out right there. Maybe even a little earlier. Let's see if we can get that point. Again, 2 tackles are cutting. Got to get the ball out. Boom. And he still hitches. He's got that hitch, and then he's just trying to find somewhere else to go with the ball. That's not Mekhi Becton or Dwayne Brown's fault. It's not. That is quintessentially Rodgers' fault for not getting rid of the ball. The receiver was there. We saw that play. So the next play here, it's 2nd and 10. 2nd and 10. You got Garrett. You got Allen Lazard. 2 tight ends set again. It's going to be another incomplete pass, but this one's going to be a penalty. So let's take a look. No one really open. Yeah, it's just, it's unfortunate. And it's unfortunate that, again, and you think about expectations and everything else, but no one's open on that drive. No one's open. No one's really out of the seam. Rodgers is already under pressure. Everyone is locked in. There's nobody open. So Rodgers has got to essentially throw it away. And the beauty is they do get the penalty on Rousseau because he holds and you get an automatic first down. But again, 2 plays in and 2 pass plays in, and we're already seeing the ugliness of the Jets' passing attack. And that is with Aaron Rodgers. You have Rodgers not getting rid of the ball, and then just improper execution, nobody's open. That's the scheme you want, 2 goes and an out. All right, so this is the play. Everyone knows. Everyone has seen. This the play that changed the Jets season. The play that changed them from playoff contenders, maybe Super Bowl contenders, to where they were at the end of the year. And again, it's not Dwayne Brown's fault for this cut block. It's not. Because look who's running open here. And look, right? He's open, he's open, he's open, he's open, he's still open. This is as open as you get in the National Football League. And he just doesn't, he's not getting rid of the ball. He's open. Garrett's open. Heck, he was open too. I think that's Conklin. I can't tell from the number here. But these guys are open. And Rodgers, he's clearly feeling the pressure on his blind side. But that's a cut block. So he should know instinctively if he's got a cut block, then he needs to get rid of the ball. That's not Dwayne Brown's fault. And what happens? The sack, he goes down, and the Jets' season completely changes. From the end zone view. And guys, this is the point that I'm talking about. I said it at the beginning of the year when we broke this down, and I'm saying it now. It's not Dwayne Brown's fault that he cut this defender, that he cut Leonard Floyd, and Rodgers didn't get rid of the ball. Because Garrett, for that little point, we can see it. That little point here, you see Garrett Wilson open. And Rodgers just didn't get him the ball. And what ends up happening? The Jets season entirely changes. So now Zach Wilson's in. And again, the one thing that I will say is regarding Zach Wilson, Zach didn't do enough this year, and we're going to see it. He didn't do enough this year to show that he can be a starting caliber quarterback. He didn't do enough because there is talent on this team, and there are guys open. We're going to see it. We're going to go through this. There are guys open. But the problem is that he's not consistent enough. And it gets progressively worse and worse pretty much with each start. So let's go through it. His first pass play of the season, he's coming in for an Aaron Rodgers, who is now lost for the year. He's going to have a quick, short completion to Garrett Wilson on this play, but they're going empty. So think about the trust that Nathaniel Hackett and Robert Saleh are showing to say, it's 2nd and 20. Zach, go make a play. That's good. That's a good start. Quick off the ball, gets rid of it, throws it to Garrett for an easy completion. Now, again, not saying that Zach Wilson is better than Aaron Rodgers, but look at the difference in decision-making. He got the ball, got rid of it to Garrett right away. If that doesn't happen, if Aaron Rodgers did that with Garrett Wilson, the entire season changes. Because look, again, just look from the pocket. Look what Zach Wilson does. Gets the ball, boom. Feet are set, get rid of the ball. He does exactly what you're supposed to do. Exactly what you're supposed to do. Again, 3rd down now. It's 3rd and long. He gets it off the haul. They don't get anything out of it. Nothing too big. I think this was Michael Carter, actually. It's fine. But nothing you can say. Again, 2 completions for Zach Wilson. If you're a quarterback coming off the field, onto the field after not expecting to start, you want to have some early completions, some early easy completions. And that's exactly what he did. The 2-for-2 start is very solid. That's all you can ask for in that situation. And the one thing that I said beginning of the year when Aaron Rodgers went down, the one thing that I said was this Jets team can be a playoff team if they get competent quarterback play and everyone else plays to their level of skill. And we didn't get that this year. And Jets fans didn't get that this year. Because if it wasn't Zach Wilson and the quarterback play not reaching and not playing to their potential, it was the offensive line not producing. It was the receivers not getting open. Or even at times, it was the defense that couldn't do the job well enough. And we're going to have those points. We're going to walk through it. But again, so second series now for the Bills. Josh Allen didn't really look sharp in that first series. He really shows that he wasn't sharp pretty much the entire game. He really just did not play well here. This is an early false start. Try to skip that. Crowd's going crazy. Everything is great. This next one's a run from Cook. And again, you can give that 5-yard run. You can forgive it. But you really see sort of the small microcosms of the season. And James Cook's a great player. But this guard does a great job of sealing off Quinton Jefferson. And now there's room. Now there's room to go. Is the hole. And he gets 5 yards. He gets the penalty yardage back. And that's important because the Bills actually end up scoring on this drive. But when you're a defensive tackle, you can't allow this to happen. You can't get sealed off like this. And Quinton Jefferson had a great year. He's a pass rushing defensive tackle. He had 6 sacks. He was great. But this play right here can't happen. And it's these small plays throughout the season that get in the way of this defense from being a great defense to being the best in the NFL. Good rally to the ball here. It's 2nd and 10. They do a great job. They do a great job rallying to the ball. Again, it's the leadership of the linebacker room. C.J. Mosley, captain of the defense. He reads it perfectly. Reading it, attack. Does a great job. That's a great play. That's a great rep from a great linebacker. So now it's 3rd and 9. And again, it's not to say that the Jets defense was bad this year, but there are plays throughout the season where they just can't get off the field when they desperately need to. This isn't a necessarily desperate situation. It's 0-0, still first quarter. About what we got, 8 minutes left. Not a desperate situation, but these are sort of the plays that we're going to continue to see throughout the year. Coverage is pretty much solid. We got a little worry here out of the back. C.J. Mosley is the spy. And Josh Allen goes off. Can't happen. It can't happen. If you're going to be the spy, C.J. Mosley, he's got to be able to make this play on a very difficult quarterback to make this play on. Protection's good. Jets are doing a good job containing Stephon Diggs. There's nowhere for him to go. Bryce Huff with another pressure. And again, they've done the job. The defensive line has done the job. They have made Josh Allen uncomfortable. They've made him try to move around in the pocket. There's nowhere for him to go on the outside. He has to step up and run. And Mosley has to make this play. Has to. If he makes this play, the Bills have to punt, and they don't get 3. Instead, poof, first down. Mosley had a very good season. But there are also some plays that showed, listen, he was either out of position, it was, he wasn't fast enough, whatever it was. And this is sort of the concern that I have about paying linebackers in general. The linebackers are an incredibly important position, and we're going to go through this and dissect what I'm talking about when I say linebackers in terms of the devaluation of what they do in free agency. But there's a legitimate question to ask about C.J. Mosley this offseason because of the cap hit he has. That's a particular play. This is a particular play you need to make if you are among the highest paid linebackers in all of football. And I get it's Josh Allen. I get it. And it's very fair. He's arguably the best scrambling quarterback in football. I get it. When you're looking at that play, What's the one thing you think? He's not attacking. He's reacting. He's reacting to Josh. He's not attacking Josh. That's a difference. All right. So a first down again. First downs happen. That run, what was it? I'm looking at the chart. It's 3rd and 9. So it was a 14-yard run for Allen. This one here's a 3-yard pass. And look at the job the Jets do here in the secondary. And again, this shows how elite the secondary can be. Diggs is kind of open, but if Josh tries to thread the needle, Mosley is here to make a play. Deep threats covered by the safeties. They've done the job. So Josh has to dump it off to Artie. 3-yard gain. No issues. And it's a solid play. Listen, they roll with motion. Mosley's here to try and take this away from Diggs at the top. And Allen knows, just get rid of it, get the ball out, 3-yard gain. That's a great rep by the secondary. And it's a very good rep by C.J. Mosley because he got depth. Look at the depth he brings out. That's a great job. That's a great job. 3-yard gain on a pass. If you're holding Josh Allen to 3-yard completions, fantastic. You're probably going to win that game. On this run, it's an 8-yard run, picks up the first down, but again, it's part of the problems. We see that play, that missed tackle there from Tony Adams. We see a defender being ultra aggressive and being out of position. Looks like a whammer trap. Solomon Thomas comes upfield. And poof, there's the hole, there's the missed tackle. And these are the things that get the Jets defense in trouble because they come upfield. The edges and defensive tackles come upfield, and that's where you can get these traps and wham blocks on you to really screw you up. And the Jets got burnt on a lot of these runs this year. But again, so right here, he's at about, trying to backtrack this. So Solomon Thomas makes a miss, right? He's too aggressive going upfield. Ball's at the 41. He is here at the 42-43. If Tony Adams makes this play in the hole, this is probably setting up a 3rd down. Instead, he misses the tackle, and they get it to near midfield. Missed tackles are something you're going to see a lot on this tape over the next few weeks. This play again, quick pass. And the one thing that I do want to give credit to is DJ Reed, because DJ Reed is a very underrated corner, and he gets attacked and attacked and attacked. Perfect example here on this drive. Quick throw. Reed makes good depth here, and he essentially gives up the flat. Does a great job to rally. And it's a relatively short completion of 6 yards. That's all good stuff. It's all good stuff from a really good player. From a really good player. Now it's 2nd and 4. Boom. This is part of the zone coverage that gets you into trouble. And this is where, when you have an elite pass rush, as the Jets do, you need to make sure you get home because teams are going to attack that with quick passes. And you see that throughout the year. You have to take away that first read. Davis doesn't get enough depth. He's out of position, and Diggs picks up 15. Let's go from the sideline view again to see it. He doesn't know if he's coming or not. And I think he was playing the run and expecting run, so he doesn't get the necessary depth. He's clearing out to the outside. This safety's on the outside, and he is too far inside, and Diggs just picks him apart. When you have guys running open, and this is a quick drop, quick pass offense that the Bills want to run in this game, as we all knew they would want, you can't allow these plays to happen because this is how big plays are made. This is how big plays come to be. And again, Jets defense still really good. They were great in this game. But these are the little plays that come in that I'm going to show throughout the year that say, hey, as good as they were, what started as small blips on the radar in week 1 turned into big problems throughout the year. Didn't happen on this play, though. This ends up being a sack. And look at the move that John Franklin Myers does because of the coverage. There's nobody open. It's an 9-yard sack by JFM, and nobody's open. It's a great job by Sauce Gardner. This is a great job. He clearly wants to go to the tight end here at the 20 on the far side of the field. No one else is open. Diggs could be throwing the ball within 4 yards, but that's a small completion. The bubble here is wrapped up, and Gardner's playing 2 guys brilliantly. And he forces the sack. That's a coverage sack. And it's a great job by the secondary. And it shows that when you take away that quick first read with your secondary, you take away that read, it forces quarterbacks to think, and it gets them into trouble. Beautiful bull rush, and it's just really essentially 2 guys meeting at the quarterback, JFM and Quentin Jefferson. Just great work. Just great work overall. So now it's 2nd and 19. Try to get it. 2nd and 19. And again, quick passes. Tight end screen. And the Jets do a great job. I mean, this is just great. It's just great work. Rallying to the football, knowing what the offense wants to do. It's 2nd and long, and they need to get into field goal range. So what happens? JFM plays this beautifully. The defensive tackles play this beautifully. And Dawson Knox has nowhere to go. Notice, he sees the blockers. JFM sees the blockers coming down. And so he stops. And he turns around. And it's not a good throw. It's not a good throw. But that play, the hustle by Quinnen, the IQ of JFM, that's great work. It's great work. Because it shows the IQ is there. And it shows that this defense knows what they are doing and how they're attacking. It's great work. All right, so now it's 3rd and long. 3rd and long, got to get off the field. And you want to get an incompletion here because it forces the other team to make a very, very difficult field goal. And watch what happens. 3rd and 15. Oops. Guy wide open. And what could have been a very difficult field goal turns into a 40-yard. Again, coverage. Let's look at the overall coverage. 3rd and 15. You've got 2 guys covering 1. The linebackers are here. Everything's bottled up on the far side. A miscommunication here, whether it be Quincy, whether it be DJ. That miscommunication gave the Bills an easy 3 points, or an easier 3 points. And this is the stuff that gradually gets worse throughout the year. And the pressure's there. Bryce Huff forces another pressure. But when you have a guy open like that and you have a scrambling quarterback like Josh Allen, this is where some of the problems show up. Field goal goes on. And it's 3-0 Buffalo. About, 3 minutes left? 3 minutes left in the first quarter. So now this is the first series with Zach Wilson under center. Aaron Rodgers has gone to the tunnel. Everyone is worried about him. Everyone's wondering what the heck's going to happen. I'm frantically writing a story letting everyone know that Aaron Rodgers got hurt. And notice what happens on this drive, because it's the microcosm of the season. 2 tight end set, and there's just nobody open. It's just a wasted play. How many wasted plays have we seen the Jets make in 2023? There's nobody open. There's nobody open. Alan Lazard does a poor job of blocking because it seems like this is supposed to be a bubble screen. It seems like this is the bubble screen, or at least an RPO. But there's nothing there. There's nothing there. Everyone comes down on this side. And the play gets blown up because of it. And that's why Zach got rid of the ball so quick. Look, they rip through. It's an RPO. And there's nobody open, so he tosses it. Early in the game, early in the season, but how many wasted plays did we see the Jets make in 2023 where there was just no hope? There was no hope for anything. Laken Tomlinson false start. So now it's 2nd and 10 turns to 2nd and 15. And again, the microcosm of the issues that the Jets had. Offensive line inefficiency, poor play calling. There's no need for that. You're at home. I hate when teams false start at home. Just doesn't make sense. So now 2nd and 10 turns to 2nd and 15 on the second drive of the game. But again, a positive for Zach Wilson. Gets rid of the ball. 4-yard pickup to Dalvin Cook. They're in empty again. They clearly trust Zach Wilson on this series. Get rid of the ball. Boom. No pressure. 4-yard completion. Pretty solid. Pretty solid. It sets up a 3rd and long, and no one wants to be in 3rd and long. That's good stuff. And here's a good ball. 3rd and long. He's got to read, and pow, bullet to Alan Lazard, who almost drops it. He almost drops it. He had problems with drops this year. We all know it. But this is an okay route combination. I don't like the separation here on 3rd and long. You look at the separation. Look here. You got 2 guys. And I really want to see this because this is incredible. Because again, the microcosms of the offense, the microcosms of these problems. They get a big completion here, but look how close these 2 are. They're essentially running the same routes. And Wilson does a great job of getting that bullet to Lazard, who's open, finds the soft underbelly of the zone, picks up 22, first down. It's good stuff. And look at the pocket. Let's look at the pocket. They pick up a blitz beautifully. That's a great job. It's a great rep all around. The Bills are sending pressure. Carter's got to make the block, or at least give Zach Wilson time to make the throw. And we can argue about, oh, he missed, he whiffed. By the time he gets to Zach, he's gotten rid of the ball. And it's a first down. Great. That's good stuff. I don't like the separation of the receivers, but that's a great ball. And you have Dalvin Cook on a run. He picks up 5. And again, remember what I said earlier about Breece Hall. The expectation was that Hall was going to be the number 2 kind of behind Dalvin Cook early in the season as he got acclimated with his ACL injury. 5 yards, there's a good pickup. And this is when it just all goes wrong. Because a great player made a great play. But I ask you guys this, because these are plays that I just don't feel have a chance. If you're Dalvin Cook, he's not a speed demon. He's a shifty back, but he's not a speed demon. You want him going downfield. You don't want him going lateral. You want him going downfield. Where's he going on this one? To the edge? Play's blown up immediately. And it's a great play by Milano. It's a great play. Sees it, reads it. McGovern can't get out there in time, and it's just a blown up play. These great players are going to make great plays. That's just always the case. But it quickly goes from bad to worse. 3rd and long, Wilson's going to take a sack. Let's see what happens. Anyone open? Nope. Anyone open? Yep. Here. You've got 2 receivers running in the same vicinity. Look at this. This is week 1 of the NFL season. We can obviously excuse some of those mishaps. But these are 2 receivers running very close to each other. And Wilson gets tripped up from the pocket. Let's take a look from the end zone, see what the breakdown and protection was. Oh, look. A stunt that doesn't get picked up. Look at that again. Guys, remember that Miami Dolphins game in Miami? It was 30-0. And the tackles and guards couldn't pick up a stunt to save their lives that game. We're going to get to that, of course. Watch what happens here. Floyd jams the guard, and Dwayne Brown is not fast enough to deal with Phillips. And a series that started well, 22-yard completion, blows up because the offensive line doesn't pick up a stunt. The lack of an inability and the inefficiency to pick up basic stunts doomed the Jets' offensive line. And it didn't matter who it was. It didn't matter who was at left tackle, who was at left guard. You saw it right there. You saw it on that play. It's just not good enough. And now the Jets defense. So it's 3-0. This is the situation. Second quarter has begun. 3-0 game. Let's take a look. First play ends up being a sack. Let's see why. And there is nobody open. Again, miscommunication sometimes. Jets pick up a sack. It's 2nd and long. From the end zone view, he's clearly looking to go for a quick pass. He doesn't see it. So he takes it and runs, picks up whatever he can, ends up losing 2. Standard stuff. Very solid play. Good job by the Jets defense being aggressive. 4-yard pickup, and it's nice and quick. And who else is going to make the tackle there but Quincy Williams? I love the way Quincy plays football. I really do. Boom. Immediately after the quarterback. Immediately after the ball carrier. Look at this. He's here. He's reading the defense. His assignment is James Cook. Goes back into his zone. Is getting depth. Attacks. One of the main differences that we've seen from Quincy Williams and C.J. Mosley in this situation. We saw in an earlier series, C.J. Mosley wasn't attacking. That's attacking. That's a linebacker that is going downhill and does a great job. So instead of missing that tackle, instead of over pursuing, he does a great job wrapping up. It's now 3rd and long. And then this happens. Allen's going to get picked. And I'm not sure exactly where he's going with the football. Jordan Whitehead, he just makes a great play. Makes a great play. It's a terrible decision by Allen. Because if you look, the pocket isn't really breaking down. It's not breaking down at all. And he just bails. He chooses to throw it long, and it's just an errant throw. Whitehead makes a great play. 1 of 3 interceptions on the day. Just great work. All right. So Jets have the ball. Early second quarter. Let's take a look what happens. This is the 83-yard run by Breece Hall. Let's see how good this line blocks it. Whew. Look at those down blocks. Pancake after pancake after pancake. Off to the races. Now, does Breece Hall from last year and Breece Hall later on in the year, does he complete that run for a touchdown? I certainly like to think so. But seriously, look at the end zone view here. Look at these blocks. AVT, Mekhi Becton, three tight ends. Ruckert's now in the game. Look at this monstrosity of blocks. Double team here. Double team here. Pow. Shams a linebacker. I mean, this linebacker is completely drawn out of the play. Linebacker, safety, whatever you want to call him. He comes into attack, and he is just wiped away by this entire offensive line. Look at this again. This is just beautiful. It's just beautiful. There's nothing else you can say about this play. This is easily one of the best Jets plays of the season. The double team here. The double team here. These two double teams are so good, it completely wipes these two linebackers out of the play. And off to the races. I mean, that's as good as it gets. We can talk about Garrett Wilson not blocking at the end. Whatever. It's great stuff. But notice the problem here, all right? So the Jets get 83 yards on that play. They shift the field. They do a great job all across the board. Now it's about maintaining momentum, right? You got to maintain momentum, be able to understand, okay, we've just had a big play. Now let's get in the end zone. And what happens in these next three plays? They give it to Dalvin Cook. There's nowhere to go. He gains 1 yard, gets tripped up. Let's see from the offensive line. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that they should have taken Breece Hall out. It's 83 yards on opening day. The guy clearly needs a rest. But look at the missed block by C.J. Uzomah. Look at the missed blocks everywhere across the board. Another double team. This guy here is going to come upfield and completely change the play because Ruckert also misses another block. And what could be a 4-yard gain turns into a 1-yarder. 2nd and 9 now. Cook cuts up field. Picks up, 4? Reasonable game, 4-yard gain. It changes, of course, if he picks up more than a yard in the previous play. And to pick up 4 is perfectly fine. But then I'll ask you and say, okay, they're in the red zone. Would you have preferred a pass on 2nd down or a pass on 1st down to keep the defense honest? Instead, it's 3rd and 5, and Zach Wilson's going to throw an incomplete pass. And just the inefficiencies, the missed plays. Let's look at the blocking. Brown gets beat. Wilson does a good job stepping up. He's got the throw, and it's too late. Again, early season, he's a backup, all that other stuff. That comes into play, and the Jets have to kick a field goal to tie the game up at 3. All right. So again, perfectly fine. If you're trading field goals with the Buffalo Bills early on, it's about staying in the game against a team that is favored. Totally get it. Perfectly fine. Your backup quarterback's in. Perfect. No problem. But this is where I say, as good as this defense is, they could have been so much better. Because they give up a touchdown on this drive. What is it, 11-play touchdown drive? Starts out great. Because who else? Quinnen Williams continues to be an all-pro. It's a shame that he didn't get all-pro consideration. Just completely dusts Dawkins here. I mean, it's a beautiful job. It's a beautiful job. That's as good as it gets. All right, 2nd and long now. They just had a positive play. And the problem with the Jets all year is that they had positive plays, but never could put them all together. Missed tackle. And what could have been a 10-yard gain or a 4-yard gain turns into 18. So look, like right here. The tackling problems of this team showing out. It's 2nd and 15. He makes the catch at about 5 yards. So he has a 5-yard completion. If Sauce makes this play, it's 3rd and 10. Instead, broken tackle, 18-yard completion, and a 1st down. These are game-changing plays, guys. Game-changing plays. And we can look at this and say, well, the Jets won this game, so, who gives a crap? But do you see the early stages of problems that came for this defense right away? Do you see the missed tackles, the over-aggression, sometimes the lack of aggression? Here's a play, Mosley. He does a great job. It's an incomplete pass. Certainly could have been an interception. But how many picks have been dropped this year by Jets defenders? Think about that. Allen with the completion here, Dalton Kincaid. But this is why I want to do this, guys. This is why I want to do this. And if you don't like it, leave comments. Let me know ways to improve it. We're obviously in the early stages here. I'd love to get another monitor to discuss it, draw and have some squiggly lines towards this. We're in the early stages of this. This is only week 2 of our show. But it's important. And again, like this play here, it's important because we learn what the Jets struggled with and learn where the Jets can go in 2024. This is a sweep that the Jets do a pretty good job on. They set the edge. DJ Reed sets the edge here. Excuse me, it's Sauce. He sets the edge and just doesn't make the tackle. These plays cause problems. And this is where they get into trouble. A 12-yard run when it could have just been a 4-yard run. I love watching Quinton Williams play, man. He's so good. This guy is so good. Completely bull. He blows up this play on his own. Look at him here. This is just dominant. He takes on 2 guys, forces them to cut back, and he loses a yard because of it. Older brother Quincy wraps up, finishes the play. Dominant. But again, they have a run stop, lost a yard. What happens next? Completion. And we talked about spacing issues with the Jets. Look at the spacing issue here with Buffalo. Gabe Davis makes a 26-yard completion. And the reason why it's caught, look at all these people. He steps in. It's essentially a pick. And Davis gets it to a 1st down. There's so many things that this Jets defense does well. There's so many things it does well. And I look and I see so many things they could be better at. Tackling. Balance between aggression and stability. They do a great job on the screen. We talk about how great Quincy Williams, the Williams brothers, had an incredible game here. He recognizes it and blows the plays up, forces this play to go inside, as every team and every linebacker is told to do. When you're an outside linebacker taking out pursuit, you want to force the guy in. And that's what Quincy does. He over pursues because it sends everyone inside. And first round rookie Will McDonald makes the tackle. There are things here that are just so perfectly done. And there are things that you look and say, what are we doing? Quincy and the whole, the Williams brothers are the MVPs of this game, as they were for a lot of the season. But third down, they get a touchdown here. Let's take a look. It's rolling out. Sometimes great players make great plays, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Let's look at the pressure. There's really no pressure. I mean, I like the move here by Jefferson. JFM is chasing down, bearing down on Josh Allen. And now Jordan Whitehead's left to the decision. Diggs is getting open. He's getting open. If Whitehead plays off, Allen's going to walk in for a touchdown. But I do think if JFM makes a tackle here, it's a completely different story. Instead, he can't get to him. He has to choose. No man's land. Sometimes there's nothing you can do. There's just nothing you can do. Carter's a great player. We all know it. That's okay. That's okay. All right, 10-3. We've got 4 minutes left before the half. Something around there, 4 or 5 minutes. Okay. The Jets are down 7 now, and now it has to be on Zach Wilson to make something happen. But if I may, we talked about, and the Jets also said this throughout the year, how they had to change the offense because Aaron Rodgers wasn't there anymore. And you're seeing bits and pieces of it here. This jumbo package of 2 tight ends, 21 personnel. When you have all these guys here to block, there's not going to be a lot of places that he's open. And I do think if Zach takes a little bit of time, Garrett could break free. Will you give him a chance? But he's trying to get the ball out quick. Why? Well, we're going to take a look at why. Let's look at the end zone view. Again, 2 tight end set. It's max protection. He's got the pocket. And then he steps up because you know he's got pressure here. I'm not going to blame CJ Uzomah for this one. I'm not going to. Because the one thing that I can't stand, and I will never be able to stand it, and I think it's just horrific. Every offensive coordinator does it. I never get it. This is an edge rusher. This is an edge rusher. Why are you having an edge rusher being blocked by a tight end? I don't care how good Uzomah is in pass blocking. I don't care how good any of them are in pass blocking. Under no circumstances am I allowing a tight end to guard and block a pass rusher. It's never made sense to me when that happens. Never makes sense. But anyway, that's me ranting. We continue. We get a run, Dalvin Cook. It's a great seal. Look at Mekhi Becton, man. Look at Mekhi Becton with this block. Holy Jesus. He's over here on the right. He gets great depth. They do a great job in the seal. We get a couple more pancake blocks. Boom. Oh, man. Take a look at this block from the end zone view. Mekhi Becton. The one thing I'll say about Mekhi, and it was a little frustrating because he essentially was practicing at left tackle for most of training camp. and had to move over back to right. And then it was essentially vice versa when Dwayne Brown went down. And he did, and it was a situation where I felt that he got worse later on in the year. But this is as textbook as it gets. Look at this. Big fella gets out. He's got his guy. Pow. Takes out 2. That's a great block. It's a great block. Let's see this again. It's so beautiful. Athleticism, strength, power, everything. It's a great block. But what happens on the next play? Furthering the point that they couldn't get out of their own way. They just couldn't get out of their way all season. They just had a great second down run. It's 1st and 10. There's 3 minutes to go. And they throw a pick. Pocket's good. He can throw it. There's 2 guys open. Instead, he tries to fit it in. And I just don't know where he's going with the ball. I don't know what he's trying to do. It's Zach Wilson is not the only reason the Jets missed the playoffs this year. But he certainly didn't help. And he certainly was a reason why the instability of this offense was nowhere near acceptable. Lazard's right here and open. Dalvin Cook is getting open. What is he seeing that thinks that this is a good pass? It's just, I don't like any of it. I don't like any of it. They get lucky because of a taunting call. And now with 3 minutes left, Buffalo's up 7, and all the excitement is out of the stadium. They do a good job picking it up. You got to bring him down. Dalton Kincaid, man, he's going to be a problem. He's going to be a problem for this Jets team for a long time. That's a 2-3 yard gain that turns into 6. Furthering the point of some of these issues that the Jets have at the position. Again, another wham. That's just, these guys go upfield way too much. And I get it's part of the scheme. It's just they completely get Quinnen out of position. It's just completely out of position. It's a good play call, too, because Quinnen, he tries to get inside here. But when he does it, he's essentially giving the area. This hole just completely opens up. And turns into 13. Momentum, again, momentum's all on the side of Buffalo now. Nothing you can really say there. Good defense by DJ Reed. It's a better throw. I look at some of these things this defense did this year, and I'm impressed. To be able to lose 3 games where you don't give up 20 points in the modern NFL, it's incredible, and it's unacceptable by the offense. But there are times where this defense did not hold up its end of the bargain. And there are times where we see some of these plays, and it didn't happen in this game. I get it didn't happen in this game. But you see the microcosm. The reason why I get frustrated in this first half is because I can see the correlation of the problems that happened in week 1 and the things that didn't work well the rest of the year. They had problems stopping the run. They had problems tackling. They had problems with over-aggression. They would overrun plays. But again, here, the Jets defense does its job. It's amazing what happens when you have a proper marriage between secondary, coverage, and pass rush. They send a little bit of a blitz. Allen's got nowhere to go. And he's sacked. It's a great rep. Great rep. They give that sack to Quinn Jefferson. Let's look from the end zone view. The blitz comes. It's just an avalanche, and he has nowhere to go. It's a great rep. It's a great rep. All right. And again, over aggression. Look at a perfect representation here. These guys want to go upfield. This pass rush wants to go upfield. Look what happens to Bryce Huff. He goes upfield, and it opens the window here. And they're lucky that it's an incomplete pass because Allen could have ran it and probably picked up that first down. Jefferson, yep. If you're going to have your edge rusher go upfield, this guy, Jefferson, he can't come inside. He's got to stay here. But he goes inside, and it gives him that room to make that throw. And he could have picked up the first down, like I said. 3rd and 13. They whiff on the potential sack, and they do a good job. Again, if you're looking at this and saying, okay, there's problems on the defense, you clearly see it in the long run. But you held the Bills to 13 points in the first half. That should win you enough games against a lethal offense like this. Against a lethal offense. We're into hour 1 of our coverage here. Football with Faria. We're breaking down the Jets 2023 season. We're going week by week, and we're going to break this down accordingly. Essentially what happens here, they sit on it. They go to the half, 13-3. I don't like it sitting on that half, but essentially with an offense that did not produce, I get it. I get it. So now, first drive of the second half. I think we're going to stop at the end of this particular drive, guys. I don't want to keep everyone here. But essentially, we're going to go step by step of each game. So let's take a look. First drive. We didn't see a lot of the offense, so let's give them their due. And isn't it interesting that some of the best runs of this game came on the right side when Elijah Vera-Tucker and Mekhi Becton were doing blocks together? Look what happens when they go to the right and they go by Laken Tomlinson. Nothing happens. Look at the end zone view here. Laken just gets blown up by Phillips. Blown up. Like, he's got to get that block. He tries to cut up. Hall tries to cut up field. He's going to try to cut up field on a sweep, and it's just completely blown up because he doesn't get enough depth on his man. Part of the problem. Know your personnel. Dak completely under pressure. It's just ugly, ugly, ugly. Let's look at this from the end zone view. AVT gets beat. Mekhi gets beat. McGovern gets beat. They're lucky this isn't a sack. It absolutely should be roughing the passer because he hit his helmet. Let's look through this. Yeah, it's just not a good rep here by AVT, by Mekhi. Should be roughing the passer because he hit the head, whatever. Gets up 3rd and 10. Let's look at the pocket. Let's look at the plays. He's looked like he can get open. He's going downfield. Look at this guy streaking. And delivers a good ball to Garrett Wilson. That's a good pocket. And again, the inconsistencies that I have issues with along this offensive line, I have to call out when they do a good job. This is a good rep. They send pressure. They pick up the twist and stunt. Like, look, the Bills send a stunt here. They send a delayed blitz, and they use it into a stunt. And McGovern picks it up beautifully. And the Jets pick up 12 and convert on 3rd down. That's good stuff from the offensive line. And we can argue about Connor McGovern if he's going to stay or not, but I like the fact that they did that. They're moving the pocket now. They're trying to move different things. They're trying to get people out in space. You get Hall and Cook in the backfield. How many times this year did we see Hall and Cook together in the same backfield? Not many. Good motion, and it sets up a nice 7-yard game. Jets are one of the teams that didn't use motion a lot this year. A few times they did, it actually opened up some things for them. Go on a screen, and look who it is. Again, motion, and it's a little screen, bubble screen. Hall takes it, picks up another first down. This is clever play calling. This is a good job by Nathaniel Hackett. You have one motion to one side, motion to the other, and now people are moving. The linebacker moves, Milano misses, and they pick up a first down. That's a good play call. That's a good play calling sequence. So to say that Nathaniel Hackett can't do this is wrong. We've seen it. We see it in this game. We see it all year. There are plays to be had in this entire game. Notice they're running to the right side. And when they run to the right side with Mackay and AVT, good things are happening. They're in 31 personnel. Down block, down, double team. Pow, great block by Tomlinson. This is all good stuff. And it's just the combo blocks that AVT and Mackay brought down were beautiful all game. Tomlinson pulls. Ozama does a good job. And he gets Milano here with a good block that just picks up 9. Good stuff. It's good stuff. It's 2nd and 1. They try the left side and gets blown up immediately. And this is where I say the sequencing is good at times, and then it's just completely inconsistent. They go with a double team. Let's look at the formation again. Cobb's got to get that block down. He doesn't do it. Why? He's trying to go after a linebacker there. I just don't get it. Conklin's going after this edge rusher, and they're requiring Randall Cobb to get the backer. But the backer, once he sees the double team, crashes down and blows up the play in the first place. This is a play doomed to fail from the start. Doomed to fail. And now 2nd and 1 turns to 3rd and 2. And it doesn't matter because Cook picks up 6 for the first down. So the Jets are moving. The Jets are moving, and they're looking really methodical. We're using both backs, using the running game to their advantage. They're doing a good job. And then they get to the problems that they've had all year. And again, a microcosm of this season. This game turns out to be just 1. Could have been more. Let's look at the blocking. It's a cut block by AVT. And the Bills do a good job responding. Again, it's first down. You're trying to keep the ball out of Zach Wilson's hands. I would have loved to have seen a potential move to throw the ball. This play gets blown up. It's fumbled. And now 2nd and 9, 3rd and 9 turns to 3rd and 13. Because Hall gets it and fumbles the ball. And it's not, and this is what I'm saying, it's not just Zach Wilson. It's not just the offensive line. Everyone played a part at some point of this team's inability to do anything consistently. So now 3rd and 13. And he's got to throw it away. Because just nobody's open. It's just, there are good things that have happened There's good things that the Jets offense puts on tape. And there's things that are just so bad that you don't know what the heck kind of football they're playing. And this essentially is what I'm talking about. This in and of itself is what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to show everybody. Because as good as this team can be, there are fundamental problems throughout. And it's not just Zach Wilson. It's not just Nathaniel Hackett. It's not just the injuries. We saw on that last play, that last series, it's 2nd and 9. And Breece Hall could maybe get another yard, make it 3rd and 8. It's not the best situation, but it's far more manageable than fumbling it backwards and making it 3rd and 13. We'll get to some of your comments here today. Thank you guys for coming on. Let me know how you guys think this went. We're going to try to continue to do this every Thursday. I know I'm teaching class on Thursdays right around 6 to 8. So maybe we'll try to do something around the 4 to 5 mark. J-Dub's comment, do you think this defense will be as good without Huff? It really sounds like he wants more playing time. I think they will be, because I think that Will McDonald showed enough this season to get more playing time. And he's going to get stronger. I think him and Jermaine Johnson are very similar. And he's going to do very well. Mindy Adam, Nick, undisciplined play is all coaching. The O-line was dreadful. Hackett was dreadful. Salah's an overseer, not a head coach. Not much can Rodgers fix. How much can Rodgers fix by himself? Well, Mindy, I'll tell you this much. We talked about Hackett being dreadful. But that first series, that these couple of plays that we saw kind of shows that it's not just Hackett that's the problem. There are plays that we saw that worked really well. The sequencing was off because they don't have their quarterback. So I think Rodgers is going to fix a lot of different things, and essentially that's what the Jets are hoping for. Nathaniel Hackett said as much, and Robert Saleh said as much. Steve and Gemma, why did we never see this jumbo tight end set again? You know, Steve, I got to be honest with you. You see it all year. And we're going to go through the tape. Like I said, this is a multi-week, multi-month project. You saw it. It just didn't work. So we're going to sign off for today. Next week, we're going to go with the rest of this game from the second half. Appreciate all you guys jumping on. Let me know what you guys think, what things we can improve on with this. Hope to continue to do this throughout the offseason and into training camp as we look for the next stretch of football. Tomorrow, our guest, 9 o'clock in the morning, is none other than Antoine Staley, Jets beat reporter of the New York Daily News. Excited to talk to him. Have your questions ready, and we'll see you guys all tomorrow, Friday morning.